Welcome to another episode of Book Club. Today, we're going to be picking a book entirely at random and reading it together. Have the books over here. All right, today we'll be reading World War Z, an oral history of the zombie war. Do you really think? Today we're not picking a book at random, and instead, we are going to read The Pirate's Life by Jacob Robert. By Robert Jacob. The Golden Age of Piracy. Now, I'm not going to start from chapter 1 on this one. I'm actually going to jump to chapter 7, so if you'd like to catch up and then read along with me, that's more than welcome. Chapter 7, Port Royal, Dunghill of the Universe. Actually, Port Royal really wasn't such a bad place. Most of the negative descriptions of Port Royal seem to come from people who have a dislike for prostitutes, drinking, and gambling. The Saddam of the New World was how one clergyman described Port Royal. He also stated its population consists of pirates, cutthroats, whores, and some of the vilest persons in the whole of the world. That was an awful accent. Another account given by the captain of William Galley described one particular tavern called Betty's Wares as a noted house, as well as most of her neighbors being notorious for their wickedness and nicknames often called the fashion dram cup upon very lewd occasions. Did that make sense? I hope so. In Woodes Rogers' diary, Ned dram cup upon a very, It's incredible. In Woodes Rogers' diary, Ned Wood called Port Royal the dunghill of the universe, and commented on the exceptionally colorful nicknames of a few of the local ladies, writing, "Unconscionable man, salt beef peg, and buttock, declink Jenny." What does that even mean? Learning a lot about pirates, aren't we? Let's dive back in. By 1660, Port Royal had become the New World's first real boom town. It was like San Francisco during the 1849 gold rush, or the city of Las Vegas in the late 20th century. It was a place where anybody could earn a fortune in a short time. It was also a place where anyone could go broke in even shorter time. We all know about that, don't we, in these times? It was a place where anyone could go broke. I'm going to repeat that sentence. But women, gambling, and liquor weren't the only business that flourished in Port Royal. Bills of export from London show that during the late 1600s, gun dealers in Port Royal were doing banner trade in flintlocks. That makes perfect sense. Every buccaneer wanted the finest weapons, and flintlocks were the state of the art. That doesn't make any sense. That sentence kind of just like dragged on. I don't understand. I picked the hardest books to read. Christopher Mings, Henry Morgan, Rock Brasiliano, Robert Searle, aka John Davis, Edward Mansfield, and many others all called Port Royal their home. Thanks to the Buccaneers, Port Royal had become the most important English port in the Americas, a mercantile center of the English Caribbean, with vast amounts of goods flowing in and out of its harbor as part of an expensive trade network. Port Royal was an ideal place for privateers to sell their captured cargo and to spend their money. The rich plantation owners were delighted to buy whatever cargo the privateers brought to port. Exotic cloths from India, fancy jewelry from Spain, or even hardwood lumber from Mexico. The Commonwealth was the old political power established by Cromwell, but now Charles II was on the throne. Windsor and Mings found the solution by dangling profits their way. The thousands of soldiers on the island that had been loyal to the Cromwell rapidly converted to the Buccaneer by the lure of the large profits they could earn. With Port Royal as a base, Mings quickly built a large buccaneer fleet. Among them were John Morris, David Washington, Robert Seal, and the king of the English buccaneers, Captain Edward Mansfield. Mansfield may have been Dutch due to the fact that his name occasionally appears as Mansvelt in contemporary documents. This was Mean's first full-scale buccaneer ambitious assault, one that would be repeated over and over again for the next 30 years. The tactics were simple: identify a rich Spanish port, sail there with a large fleet of ships filled with soldiers, land on a shore far away from the enemy fortifications, and attack using traditional European infantry tactics. He returned to Port Royal with a string of prize ships filled with Spanish plunder. And by 1665, the what happened here? Wow. Were you talking to me? Oh. By 1665, the French West India Company had taken possession of Tortuga and established Bertrand de Ogeron as the new French governor. His goal was to turn Tortuga into an island of tobacco and sugar plantations rather than a buccaneer haven. Realizing that the Spanish were still a threat, Governor de Ogeron, I don't know how to pronounce that, I'm so sorry, de Ogeron continued to issue letters of marque to all the buccaneers as a form of defense against future attacks. Despite de Ogeron's efforts to transform Tortuga away from the buccaneer base, it managed to hang on throughout the rest of the decade as a great place to recruit buccaneer crews and stage large operations on the surrounding islands. The Pirate King. That sounds cool. That sounds very cool. I might go back and read The Pirate King. Interesting indeed. And that is the end of that chapter. Thank you so much for coming to today's book club. I hope you have your fill of pirates, buccaneers, water, and all that jazz. If you'd like to purchase the book, I'll leave a link. Why am I so bad at plugging books? Why? This has been A Pirate's Life by Robert Jacob. Very interesting read indeed. If you enjoyed the material, I'll leave a link in the description below. And as always, stay safe out there. Next episode, we're going to dive very deep to the Holy Bible.